Oh, there we go. Look at the Skype update. It's doing all the fancy words. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello, y'all.
We're back and we're here to talk. We haven't been here for a while. It's been a minute since we've been here, right?
Yeah. It's been about at least more than 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
hmm
But yeah, I mean we have to. Yeah, it's been a few weeks because I've been busy and you've been busy. So
Yeah.
um so yeah, that's kind of been a thing. But the good thing is we're back now, so we can do this. But yeah, so what was I saying? I was saying something.
It's been a minute since we've done this, but
Right,
we
that.
got we got we got a couple things to talk about. We got Eternals to talk about that we saw over the weekend. We got
Yep.
Spider-Man leaks to discuss, which we will not spoil, by the way. We haven't seen it, so we haven't seen the picture, so
We
we're not
don't do
gonna
leaks here. We don't believe in leaks. I hate leaks. Don't worry, we're all good.
fair
Also,
enough.
the Dune spoiler free review is one view away from hitting 1,000. So,
All right, I'll go tell someone to watch it, and then they'll give you their 1,000th view.
so then we'll have 3 videos over 1,000, which would be cool.
So, yeah, we got Eternals to talk about, Spider-Man No Way
Yes.
Home.
Yes.
Um, what else do we
We'll
have to
rank
talk about?
them. We'll do all the ranking stuff. We'll talk about money and box office.
hmm
Um, there's more.
Yeah, we're gonna go with it as we go along, I guess.
There's definitely more. I'm just too stupid to. Oh yes, we'll talk about Star Wars too.
Oh, there's Star Wars news.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
always
Should be
Star Wars
good.
news. There's 2 pieces of Star Wars news. I think you're gonna find this. I want to hear. I'm really actually interested to hear what you think of this because I know you're very critical of Star Wars. So
Especially the last couple of ones they released.
yeah, so I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Um, and we can then talk about the what we watched and stuff. There's some if you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing the thing on your screen with the words, so it's not like so you know what you're doing to talk about. We're just saying this now because I've totally written down it all. We're always super prepared for these. Not written it down. In my head it's written down, which means it doesn't actually. Yeah. So let's start by talking. We'll start with Star Wars. Why not? Because we'll leave Eternals kind of for the middle
Mhm.
because then we'll keep people's interest captivated. Um,
Okay.
so
Let's
we
hear it.
recently learned that they are now officially shelving to some extent Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron film, which they announced.
What's Rogue Squadron? What's like?
We don't. It's something about ships and pilots and a story which Patty Jenkins was going to direct, which they've
Oh,
taken
so
off the release calendar and they basically just delayed indefinitely. Now the rumor is that they may be getting cold feet because like kind of like what they did with the Colin Trevorrow kind of situation with the final Star Wars movie, and they're kind of like, I don't know if we want to do something different, and we want to, and so they're kind of hesitant to go forward with this. It's also possible that there's other factors that we don't know about, but I was interested to hear what you thought about this because you really wanted, I think you were really someone who wanted a different direction for Star Wars to an extent,
yeah.
and so I want to know what you think about this idea of them kind of they have something different, something that's going to be could be a really good story that they're kind of
Yeah,
just putting over on the side.
like you said, for sure, a different way in Star Wars, considering the fact that the prequels in were just not it. So to kind of turn away from that, turn away from Rey and not the prequels, the recent one. Are the recent movies that came out called the prequels or what?
They're called the sequels.
The sequels. Never mind. Sorry, the sequels. The prequels were
The
great, but
prequels have been before.
the sequels were not as great. So to turn it into a different direction, to introduce new characters we probably haven't seen on the big screen before, that actually could bring Star Wars back bouncing a little bit and booming, considering the fact that the last movie they released was not that good.
Yeah, so the yeah, so sorry, just doing some quick googling.
hmm
Um, So this is the official description. The next Star Wars feature film will be Rogue Squadron, directed by Patty Jenkins. The story will introduce a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives in a boundary-pushing, high-speed thrill ride and move the saga into the future era of the galaxy. And she also said they're doing something that is original and that has not been done before. And so this is the movie that they are now deciding we're just going to put it on hold. It's supposed to come out in 2023.
Do they? Okay, they said indefinitely, right?
Indefinitely. They've taken off the
Okay.
calendar. We don't know. So what do you think about this? Do you think they're moving it because they don't want to do something original necessarily and that could end up backfiring? Or do you think it's another reason that we don't know yet?
I think it may be another reason, to be honest. I think maybe because production for them is kind of slowed down. Maybe they did really have sincere intentions to release this movie in 2023, but maybe it's just kind of slowed down and they don't want to like rush things too quickly, I guess.
So you don't think it has anything to do with like like them being kind of, worried that this would be too different or too, and maybe they want to, or maybe Patty Jenkins wants to go in a different direction than they do?
I think there is something in that for sure. Maybe that fans are a little scared that it's going to be in a different direction, but I think there's also maybe like a little bit of we're kind of like you know kind of late due late on this assignment that we have to do. So it's a mix of both, like 60-40.
And I mean, Wonder Woman 3 could also be a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And Patty Jenkins, this could literally just be, oh, Patty Jenkins wants to do Wonder Woman 3 next, and so this will just be after that. And it could be as simple as that. Or it could be more complicated in terms of being, much more deep and layered in terms of the issues,
Yeah.
I guess. But that was the first thing. Now, the second thing is so you know how Kevin Feige is going to be producing a Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, we discussed it.
Way back
we
when.
discussed it once. Yeah, yeah.
So they're apparently saying that Chloe Zhao, the person who directed
Directed
Eternals,
Eternals.
is
Yeah,
now being courted and is the I guess the favorite person to direct this new Star Wars movie
that
that
Kevin
Kevin Feige is
Feige is gonna
producing.
produce. Oh, that's Marvel and Star Wars like crossing over now.
I mean, we know Kevin Feige loved what she's done with Eternals, and
Oh yeah,
he's just absolutely he's the way he's loved this movie, I think, is being different from the way he's loved any other movie. And I think it's because it's so, and we'll talk about this obviously when we talk about Eternals, but it's such a unique film that I think it's hard to, like, he just loves the way it's just so different from everything else, right?
Mhm.
It's really on its own. It's the first Marvel movie that doesn't even resemble a Marvel movie.
Yeah. It was a lot different.
So, what do you think about that? Because obviously, I know. Because I want to know. Yeah, what do you think about her directing a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, she did Eternals really good actually. And she took a different perception on Marvel. So if she's directing Star Wars, I think she's gonna do the same, where she takes a different perception on Star Wars and turns it 180 degrees.
So, are
Not
you
not for the
excited for that?
worst.
The theoretical idea,
Yeah, not for the worst that she's gonna turn it 180 degrees, but something different. That's gonna be something we ain't never seen before.
which is interesting, obviously, because obviously, unlike Marvel, Star Wars has been very hesitant to do different.
Yeah,
Which I assume again, if you tell Kevin Feige to do something, he's doing his thing, which will be awesome, which will relate to the source material, but be his own thing, and you won't tell him no. And obviously, no one's at Disney's gonna say, Kevin Feige, we don't trust you. He's currently breaking in billions for you. You can just let him make this movie. So,
yeah,
but I think and I know that the internet's being so angry at her for some reason because, she's selling out because she wants to make blockbusters, I
yeah.
guess, and getting paid what she's worth and doesn't want to like do small films forever. Apparently that's like selling out and stuff. I don't know. Apparently if you do like an Oscar winning film, you can't direct Marvel movies because it's a sellout of your
Every
beliefs or
career.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what they want.
apparently doing your job and doing what you want to do on top of that, and directing movies you choose to do is selling out and is dishonorable. Even though you want to look at the actors who did stuff in Marvel. I mean, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Who's the big classic actor in that one?
Who was it? Oh my God, his name is blanking. Why is his name blanking? Oh my goodness. Who is it? Remind me, who is it?
It's Robert Redford.
Robert. Oh my God, why did I forget that name?
I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, it's Robert Redford was in that one.
Yeah, he was.
Anthony Hopkins is Odin. Do we have to talk about like big actors doing things like, I've just named two.
Matt Damon making a cameo in Thor Ragnarok.
Nah, that's different.
Or that's a cameo. That's not a role. Or how about, I don't know.
But there's just a ton of them, basically. Moral of the story is Sam Jackson. I mean,
Sam Jackson, yeah.
Although he does a lot of stupid movies too, so
stupid but good.
Yeah, obviously good, but no, but he does do he isn't like a prestige actor purely. He does a bunch of he did Star Wars and he does all those other things, Snakes in the Plane. Did that one, right?
Yeah.
But I hate this kind of notion of tiers of actors. Like, oh, there's the prestige tier of actors, and then there's the lesser. Like, come on.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous.
You know what the problem is though? You know why this happens?
Why?
This happens because of the awards and the way that's done and the critics. And if these people, I guess these they what they do is they basically create divisions, right? You look at the Oscars, how are they done? What movies are always front and center? And which movies are never front and center, even if they are really good movies?
Marvel movies.
Which actors are not front and center, even if they're really good actors. And there have been multiple people who've said this. If you do comedies, you probably won't get nominated for an Oscar, even if you do a really good job, because they don't believe comedy is as hard to do as like a drama or a whatever piece.
Dude, Marvel movies. Incredible movie, but they don't get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman wasn't even nominated, and Michael B. Jordan wasn't nominated. Michael B. Jordan probably should have gotten nominated for supporting.
Was Avengers: Infinity War nominated for Best Picture?
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the only Marvel movie that ever be nominated for Best Picture is Black Panther.
Proves your point. Avengers: Infinity War is going to always be in the opinion, what I think is the opinion. Yeah.
Infinity War lost Best Visual Effects to First Man.
The First Man, yeah.
That's the type of thing, though. It's not criminal. The big categories and whatever. Should Robert Downey Jr. have won at least one Oscar through his entire career? Maybe. Oh, even Sam Rockwell actually did Iron Man. I can't forget about that one. But yeah, should he have been nominated for an acting Oscar at some point? Be that Infinity War or whatever, or Endgame or whatever.
Yeah, that was absolutely criminal that First Man won.
Over Infinity
War. Infinity War, the movie that had the most VFX shots in any movie, and they did it so amazingly well, and it didn't win. Absolutely
all their
criminal.
Fight scenes were in the day. That's hard to do.
Very.
There's a reason all the big heavy CGI fights are at night. If you if you go through movies and you look at all those big fight scenes, for example, Wonder Woman 1984. What was the big fight with Cheetah? Where was that? It was at night.
It was at night.
Right? It's always dark, raining, or at night when these fights, these big CGI fights happen. Spider-Man Homecoming. Where was that plane fight?
At nighttime.
Where was you go through all these movies, all these fights are at night for a reason. It's so easy to cover up mistakes if you do it at night. Or when it's dark, or when there's smoke in the air and you can't see anything.
Or rain, like you said.
Yeah, it's easy to cover. Yeah. That's why they do it, because you can cut corners on costs, right? You don't have to be as precise. This movie was super precise. And the fact that it lost, and look, First Man, still haven't seen it, but I know from you telling me. It definitely had good visual effects, and I've seen trailers and I've seen clips and stuff, right? But it's not an Infinity War, and I think at the time you kind of argued that it deserved it, but we all know in reality Endgame was better, like in terms of that aspect of it. But guess what? It was a prestige movie, so it won. I think I think Endgame might have won. Did Endgame end up winning visual effects next year? Or was it? No, it was 1917, right?
Hold on. Avengers Endgame Oscars.
Because I remember. Oh, the other thing was the sound.
It won.
It won? Okay.
It won Best Visual Effects in 2020, yeah.
Oh, no, you know what it was?
What?
Score. It never got nominated or won score. Neither of them.
I agree. Hold on, let's see. 2020 Oscars score.
I think it was 1917 won score. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Joker.
Over what?
Hold on.
No, the year before. With Infinity.
In 2020, Joker won Best Score.
Okay.
Which makes sense, to be honest.
Wait, but am I like done? Was 1917 and Joker same year?
Hold on. Let's see. 1917 Oscars. Let's see what they got. Best cinematography.
I might just be going crazy. Was it 1917? I thought it was. I might just
1917 won Best Cinematography, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound Mixing.
Which year did it win Best Visual Effects?
2020.
So Endgame didn't win.
Hold on, Oh wait, maybe it was not. Oh, maybe it was just nominated. Okay,
yeah, I didn't think it won. I was pretty confident that it didn't win.
2020.
But I remember I made a bet with or I didn't make a bet. Like I told the teacher, I was like, watch, 1970 is going to somehow find a way to beat Endgame for the visual effects, and I was
you
right.
You were right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. I was pretty sure it didn't win, and then never got. And I remember that I think it was Infinity War came out, Star Wars got nominated for sound, even though the soundtrack had been the same for the last 7 movies, and Endgame and Infinity War, I guess at the time didn't, which was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Portals, in Endgame obviously is like top tier sound, like it deserved to get nominated at least. But like that's the thing. This the differentials in like Hollywood has become because of these people, right? And then suddenly when you want to do something like make a Marvel movie, it looks like it's less prestigious, right? That's where all these narratives start. It starts with the people that people listen to, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or who people use as examples. You see Oscar nominated, and suddenly it feels like it's a more cinematic movie than Avengers: Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so ridiculous the way that this division is kind of being created, and like, oh, there's prestige and then there's other. Well, like there are bad movies. I'm not saying every movie is awesome or every movie is worth, but like it's like there's a very big bias towards certain movies which appeal to the general audience. And the Oscars can't decide. And I know this has kind of become an Oscar rant, and I'm sorry about that, but the Oscars can't decide what they want to do. Do they want to, just focus on smaller independent films but then can they really call an award Best Picture if it's not really about the best movie?
Mm-hmm.
But then, or is it going to be more about just in general actually being the best?
Yeah. However, though, in the 2019 Oscars, Black Panther did win 3 awards, which is pretty good.
Yes, and I think that was very good. There were some critical nominations missing, including Michael B. Jordan continuing to get snubbed from any sort of victory, despite having many good performances over his career.
He was supposed to get nominated for like Best Supporting Actor, eh?
Like when he lost
in Black Panther.
He should have. Or like when he lost The person who won for Creed should not have won. I know he's your guy, but we all know Michael B. Jordan deserved that Creed Oscar. And
Mahershala Ali won Best Supporting Actor the year Michael B. Jordan should have won.
well, yeah, because of the movie.
Green Book.
But even Mahershala Ali is going to be Blade, right? So
Blade, yeah.
And obviously, yeah. I kind of walked into that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, no! I just realized.
Yeah, as I said it, I realized it's okay. No one knows context, it's fine. It's okay. Mahershala Ali's Blade, we know that, and he's getting a movie. We know that.
Yeah.
I walked into that one hard. Okay. But yeah, what was I saying? Yes. But yeah, Mahershala Ali's gonna be in a Marvel movie. Like, is that a big deal? Like, is that different?
It's a big deal because he's awesome.
Yeah, but does that mean he's less prestigious? I don't think so.
Not at all.
Anyway, enough of the ranting about how Hollywood is split and how it's okay to direct movies if you want to make movies, I guess. Mm-hmm. Who knew that was a good thing? Okay. Let's talk about more stupid people on the internet, because why not? So we're gonna talk, or do you want to talk about Spider-Man last?
We can do Spider-Man last.
Okay, we'll talk about Eternals.
All right.
Also, I'm gonna have to just make note of the order we're doing this in, so I know how to order it on the paper.
All right.
Sorry. So while I'm ordering this on the paper, we talked about. What did we talk about first? Oh, Star Wars. Then we talked about Eternals. Or what we're talking about now. Okay, good. See? Look at this. On the fly editing. What would we okay, let's talk about Eternals. Yes. We'll start with some non-spoiler thoughts, and then we'll talk about some spoiler thoughts. Typically with the spoiler thoughts, we'll try to start at the beginning and then move toward the end instead of starting at the end and moving toward the beginning, because we have a habit of just jumping to the end. We'll try to start at the beginning. So let's talk about the non-spoiler thoughts. Overall, what did you think of this movie?
Very good movie. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. It was most certainly out of the norm for your prototypical MCU movie you're going to see about exploration of power and something like that.
Philosophical questions about life.
Where this was more like, I like the aspects of history, going back to Mesopotamia and Babylon, and that was actually interesting. And overall, great casting, great actors: Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kit Harington. Fun movie for real. There were a lot of the jokes in it were actually really funny. And the visual effects were great too. Overall, would recommend it for sure. But yeah, what would you think of it?
I mean, I loved it. I remember I walked out of the theater and I was smiling. I was like, I love this. Even before it was over, I was just so happy, because this is the thing. This movie is ambitious in and of itself, right? What it attempts to do is introduce a whole group of new characters who we have never seen before. A. B. It has to set up a whole aspect of the MCU which we've never heard of before or seen, like, unless you know the comic. And even me, okay, being perfectly honest, someone who has much more knowledge on this stuff than I do. The cosmic side is, and a lot of this kind of deeper cosmic stuff isn't my strong suit, but I'm not the biggest Eternals guy. So I was even going into it, although knowing a lot more, still didn't know a ton about the Eternals. And so you had to basically explain these characters. Like, it's a more ambitious version of Guardians of the Galaxy, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing you're doing is you're going over the course of history and time. So you're basically trying to cover the entire history of the MCU, including introducing a whole set of new characters who you have to make the audience care about, and introducing new aspects of the MCU which have never been seen before, and doing that in 2.5 hours without feeling draggy, repetitive, boring, or slow. That's very hard to do.
Very, yeah. And they pulled it off.
The fact that I watched that entire movie, and I kid you not, there was not one point where I was bored or I was like, you know, I really, I want to just go, I want to just leave now. How much longer is this movie? Like, there was never a point where I was like that the entire time. And despite the fact that it was, and to be honest, I'm actually more likely to do that if it's like a loud action movie like a Transformers than anything, just in general. But even though it was not a very big kind of like action to action movie, like from action scene to action scene movie, I thought it was still, there was never a point where I was like, I'm bored.
Mhm.
I was captivated. I loved every second of it. There was some wonkiness with the fight scenes, but that's just normal Marvel stuff. So.
Yeah.
But it was great. I loved it.
Yes.
Let's talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, obviously go watch it. We don't want to spoil it for you.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. There might be some sort of thing, or I'll be lazy and I won't put it in, where it'll be like a soundbite at some point of like spoilers and go away and stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I know. There's one I want to. Okay, I might have to make some edits to my spoiler compilation because I just thought of a good idea. But yeah, spoilers, yada yada yada. You know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, one twist I liked in the movie was the one in the middle.
Spoilers. Okay.
Yeah.
Go away if you. Yeah. Okay. Now go.
Okay, so spoiler warning, but one twist I actually really liked was to find out that Icarus was the cause of Ajax's death, because he's the one who pushed her off the cliff, and then she was eaten by the Deviants, and that was actually a really interesting twist, to be honest. Changed the story completely.
So now I'm going to be perfectly honest here. Although there was some level of me that was suspicious of Icarus, I didn't see that one coming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was someone who saw the James Bond ending coming from 1.5 miles away.
Uh-huh.
Also, at the end, I've got to pitch you I've come up with a new plot for James Bond, which I like better, and which I've talked to some Bond fans about, and I'm going to pitch it to you, and I want to hear your thoughts. And everyone I pitched it to who's like a deep Bond fan has loved it. As in it's like a half-baked plot, but it's already better than what we got. So but yeah, so I'll pitch it to you at the end. Anyways, so stay tuned if you want to hear my Bond pitch. Anyways, yeah, so I think, for someone who saw the end of that Bond movie coming, I did not see this coming. I was suspicious and I was like, maybe, but I did not see this turning out the way it did. Mm-hmm. But what happened though, right? If you think about it, it really did create a very real and moral divide between people. And what happened? It didn't just it was a better version of Captain America Civil War. And why I say that is Captain America Civil War was just people splitting into two groups and then fighting each other, right? This wasn't that. This was, and it was weird, the emotional impact of these characters splitting at the end was more so than the one of Iron Man and Captain America and those guys splitting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason was Captain America Civil War felt this felt like it was supposed to happen. And it wasn't just, okay, we're angry at you and you're angry at us for irrational reasons or rational reasons, whatever. Because the anger, the distrust was kind of started at the beginning when he killed Ajax, right? In theory. And what happened was over the course of that movie, when it happened, you had a guy like Kingo, right, who said, I don't agree with the plan that you guys have to, kill this Celestial, but I'm not, I don't believe in it strong enough to do anything about it. So I'm just going to go. Right. Mm-hmm. And as funny as that sounds, it's reality, right? There's not every time is everyone going to believe strongly enough in something to fight it for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think showing that kind of divide of, yeah, I agree with him, but I don't agree enough to, you know, to go fight, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave because I have no stake in this. And even the way Sprite ended up going with Icarus, right? It wasn't because she necessarily super believed, right? It was more for romantic and jealousy reasons, right?
Yeah.
That was the reason she
That was yeah.
decided to kind of rebel or whatever.
Mm.
So and Icarus's was more kind of, deep seated. I don't like this. I'm going to be against you, right? But it was more logical, I guess, because it just felt more realistic in terms of the way things happen, rather than just Captain America being like, "I don't believe I should be controlled by the government. I'm going to fight you now, Iron Man." Right? Like, and Iron Man like, "No, I believe fully in the power of the government," because my character totally believes I should, because I've never like literally humiliated the government on multiple occasions.
Mm-hmm.
I totally think you know what I mean. Like it's very hard. Like yes, they do it's a good movie, whatever. But the way the divide works in this, I think, is a lot more realistic to the different groups of people that exist and why people do things. And it isn't always just ideological differences.
Yeah.
Like for example, if Wanda and Vision ended up being on Team Iron Man or Team Cap, right? Because their own relationship together, or where they said, yeah, we don't really care about this fighting. We're just gonna go over here and live our lives, right? You know what I mean? Like there would be this different dynamic if it didn't feel so kind of scripted to be split apart type things.
Mm.
For the dramatic, oh my God, the Wanda and Vision, they're on different sides now. Oh no, what's gonna happen? It's kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but what do you think about that kind of aspect of it?
Yeah. It was. I agree with you that it was more of a emotional one where they split up in Eternals. That's why it was better. But um, I was gonna say something. I forgot. Hold on. Let me. I'm blanking. I don't know. Okay, I was okay. Yeah, okay, I remember. Like part of it. About Icarus. I hope he comes back for another Eternals movie because seeing him go to the sun to commit suicide, like really, you're gonna kill off your best character and your best actor. Like, for what for?
I
Come
don't
on,
think
man.
he's gone, and we'll talk about this kind of, I guess in a minute, like after we talk about the movie as a whole, we'll talk about kind of the future of this
So
franchise and these characters. But I
they
don't
did
believe
say
he's gone.
they did say in the post credits that the Eternals will be back. So I do hope Icarus comes back as well.
There's a very, very easy way, or two very easy ways for them to bring them back, and I don't see a world where he doesn't come back. Now, when he comes back and in what form, that's a good question. They have, look, I'm pretty sure they signed all these guys up to multi-movie deals. So,
Mhm. Hold on, let's see. Richard. Oh, Richard Madden Marvel contract.
yeah, I don't know if
Okay.
they've actually said anything about him specifically, but we know some other people do have. So, um,
Selma Hayek.
it'll be interesting,
Richard.
but we'll talk about that in a minute. I guess will you look it up, see if you find anything. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they're gonna kill him because I think although it would work if he stayed dead, it feels too much like where the story overall is going that he needs to come back. And it's interesting, right? Because there were a lot of obviously Superman comparisons to him in the movie,
Hmm. Yeah.
which
The guy's son. He called him Superman. He was like, "Oh, it's the guy. Your eyes come out of your lasers and you fly." And then Richard Madden's like, "No, I'm not Superman. I'm Icarus, bruh. What are you talking about?"
and like there's this one person who does stuff on YouTube who is has her own issues of being certain ways about movies, said it was disrespectful to DC to do, or disrespectful to Marvel to do this,
Uh-huh.
or disrespectful to someone. I don't know how saying making comparisons in a very funny way is disrespectful to anyone, but whatever. But I thought it was actually a very well done thing, right? Like you kind of are pointing out the meta humor of the fact that he's very similar to Superman, but in a lot of ways, right?
Mhm.
The only
Yeah.
reason I think people even are coming up with that Superman comparison is because of how badly DC's done Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Like DC has screwed up Superman so much
Oh
to the
yeah.
point where
Oh
you
yeah.
have this dark, twisted character as he turns out being. And then people are like, hey, he's the most likable Superman we've ever had, in a while.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like if you watch The Boys, the Amazon Prime show, the thing that's very often associated with when you type in comic boys, because
Yeah. Have you watched The Boys on Amazon?
I have.
Is it good?
It's so good. You'd
Okay.
love it. It'd be your show.
It's a
But
little like what's it even about? Like it's about superheroes, but like what about them?
it's like a dark, dark version of superheroes with
Oh, okay.
government conspiracies, and it's your show. It's your kind of show.
Are you talking about a political thriller? Because if that
Essentially with
is,
superheroes. It's a political thriller with superheroes.
ooh, okay.
It's a show which you should be watching because it's just a really good show. And then on top of that, it's like your area. It's not toned down or anything. It's like, governments controlling superheroes and conspiracies of creating superheroes and all this different stuff. You'd love it. You should watch it for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think that Homelander in that show is comparable to Icarus. I think, to in a lot of ways too. Obviously, also comparable to Superman. But I think the fact that both those Icarus and Homelander are both much darker characters,
Hmm.
and Superman shouldn't be a dark character, and just the power similarity should not be enough to make that comparison. Although it is funny because as I say that, at the same time, this was also the best version of Justice League we've ever seen on film. So, they just developed these characters better than Justice League ever did in any version. The 34 hour Zack Snyder cut still didn't develop the characters as well as this 2.5 hour movie. So, maybe that speaks to how bad DC is at doing things, but
Hmm.
you know,
I can't I can't find how long Richard Madden signed with Marvel.
no one might have leaked the details yet, but I'm almost 100% sure he has got multiple movies.
Hmm.
Just because there's no way he doesn't, because it makes sense for him to come back. Um, Now, what did you think about the whole celestial aspect of things and the cosmic side?
What was the Celestials again? The big robot guy with
Yeah,
like six eyes.
and the
Uh,
guy frozen in the ground now.
yeah, that like talking visually about that huge guy frozen in the ground. Holy crap, that guy's massive. Oh my goodness. Like to watch that visually on a big screen, like wow, that's awesome. That's awesome to look at. But
And even the one shot that I loved so much was the one where shoot, I can't remember his name right now. The main celestial guy. And I'm sorry if I call them sentinels at all, because I do that for some reason. Um Arsham, that's the guy. Arsham, the
Everson, yeah.
main guy.
Hmm.
Um when he comes at the end, right, to take all the main characters away, that visual of him, in his full kind of form, because it's one of the first times you see him properly, and then with the earth like right there,
Yeah.
that was a
That
that was
was
a
awesome.
beautiful shot.
That
That
was
was
that was
like,
awesome.
oof, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beautiful shots in this, but that was one where it's like, ooh. And it's interesting. I'm just going to kind of make a little bit of a comic tie here in terms of my very limited knowledge of the comics in this regard, at least. Um, so what's interesting is obviously the Celestials will have a bigger role, obviously, going forward in the MCU,
Hmm.
right? It's kind of been hinted. We've seen them before. Obviously, nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy is a Celestial head. Obviously, we know from the flashbacks or whatever in Infinity War or no, in Guardians 1, that Celestial brought the powers, all the Infinity Stones to this universe. But the other thing we know is that the Celestials actually have a rivalry with the Watchers. And if you watched What If or Guardians 2, I guess they appeared in 2, right? The Watchers are obviously very passive, right? And we know, again, the one thing What If did really good was kind of explaining the fact that they're passive. They watch, they don't like interfering. Well, the Celestials are all about the interference. They'll love getting in right and they're changing the course as much as they say, oh, don't do Eternals don't interfere with humanity. In reality, they're always interfering and they totally are happy to use their massive power to change the course of history forever. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a little bit of a situation between these two groups, I guess.
Maybe we can get a spin-off movie like Celestials versus Watchers spin-off.
And just go back to the beginning of time and then have them fighting each other. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other interesting thing is in the comics, and I don't know how much my memory of this, because this is something I've seen briefly, and I don't have not much knowledge of this, so I could be completely wrong here. But I believe that when there was one time in one Loki comic where a Celestial is, I think, killed on Earth, and his body seeps into the ground and creates and gives people power. So now, what group of people could all of a sudden get powers?
The Eternals?
No, a group of people on Earth getting, let's say, mutations hypothetically.
Oh, with the X-Men.
Because there is currently a frozen Celestial in the ground.
In the Indian Ocean, yeah.
So it's very possible if, some magical power or something from a dead Celestial seeps into the water, it could start giving us, a portion of the population certain abilities, that are not normal for people.
Mutants?
Yeah, maybe it's mind powers, some transformation powers, powers.
Some blades coming out of your knuckles,
Well, there were blades, right? Because that was the adamantium afterwards, but some
blades,
sticks with
knives,
pointy sticks,
potato.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was maybe turning blue,
Oh yeah. The ability to control metal, totally.
I did that one.
Oh.
The ability to walk through walls.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a lot of powers. So, now, what do you think about the acting in this?
Oh, it was good. It was actually really good. Angelina Jolie, she was great. Richard Madden, as always, incredible. I was actually kind of surprised to see him maintain his accent he had in Bodyguard, which is the same one he had in this, but still it sounds good. Gemma Chan, she was, I've never heard of her before, but her performance was good. Brian Tyree Henry, he's in a TV show I watched called Atlanta. He's he's the main rapper trying to get to the top, and as always, he was great.
Also, fun fact about Gemma Chan, she is the first actor to be cast in 2 Marvel roles simultaneously.
What was the other one?
Because she's also Minerva from Captain Marvel.
She was?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta search this up.
Yeah, she's the first. I'm pretty sure the first major Marvel character to play 2 roles who are both characters, by the way, who are alive at the same time. I think technically, I don't know if Minerva's actually alive anymore. Theoretically, we don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she is dead, but.
Oh, Dr. Oh, yeah, there she is. Hold on.
Yeah. She's double cast in the MCU. They've run out of good actors at this point where they're just kind of having to double cast people. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh no, she's got blue paint on her face, so you can't recognize that.
And she also has such a minor role that you don't really know who she is.
That's so smart. Yo, Marvel be some genius. They on genius time.
Hey, if they're really looking for a specific actor, I mean, look, they might end up doing it with Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would not be against Brolin being Cable in the MCU.
Mm-hmm. Thanos and Cable.
Dead anyways, I mean, no one's gonna no one's gonna be able to tell Brolin was Thanos. That's just that.
unless you're like searching it up and you're like a pretty big Marvel fanatic like you and me, we would obviously know that Josh
We
Brolin
would
is
no, we'd
Thanos.
be fine. No issues
Yeah,
there.
we'd be cool with it, but like the average movie watcher would not be able to differentiate between
Like
Thanos
if
and
you
Cable.
look at it, obviously there's similarity because of the motion capture and stuff, but I think you could totally do it, and the voice I think is very similar, but you could definitely do it and no one would notice. And the other option is, hey, if you want another character to come back, there's a certain guy who was the main villain in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 who was kind of wasted
Mm-hmm.
because he only became a disaster. So hey, if you want to do something like make him, I don't know, Arcade or something in the first X-Men movie, I'm just saying. You
Hey,
could,
just a little suggestion for y'all.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think Marvel doing this is very smart. I mean, got to give them a round of applause. Obviously, you're not gonna see Robert Downey Jr. cast in two roles because not covered in paint.
Yeah.
No major character, but of course, you can give minor characters big new roles if
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're being covered in paint their entire time. But yeah, I mean, I think you can I think that's, or you could give them new roles if they weren't covered in paint and now they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can do that the other way too.
Yeah, low-key Cable, Josh Brolin is Cable in the MCU. That'd be awesome.
Hey, I mean, it makes
Oh,
sense. Like,
about another one, the introduction of Thanos' brother.
yes, the end credit scenes. We'll talk about
Yeah.
those in a minute because I want to talk about those in more detail because those are just too good.
All
Also,
right.
that one was spoiled for me and I'm very angry. I was very disappointed about that.
Who? Wait, hold on. You went to see it on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So how did someone spoil it for you, or how did that happen?
So I know someone who saw it the critic screening, whatever. And they accidentally
Oh,
told me, I was talking to them about it, and they accidentally told me that it was
Harry Styles was Thanos' brother.
well, they said Eros, and so obviously I knew because I think they didn't realize that hadn't been like public information yet. So they kind of just said that, and then they realized, and then they were like, and I was like, well, Harry Styles does make sense. Now, obviously, Harry Styles makes perfect sense, but we'll get to that in a minute. But just going back to kind of, I guess, the Eternals as a whole, I think, I don't know, maybe you may not agree fully with this, but I think this is the best individual story in the entire MCU.
What do you mean by individual story? I don't understand
See,
that.
so that's the thing. There's a lot of caveats to that because
Hmm.
by individual story, I mean, it's the best self-contained, right? And it's the best self-contained story that doesn't require any other. And although Marvel is pretty good at being self-contained, that doesn't require any other kind of knowledge to watch it and like it.
Hmm.
Right? You don't need to know anything else about the MCU to like it, except maybe the general knowledge that Thanos snapped his fingers. And even then, I don't know if you didn't know that, how much that would affect things. But not only that, but the individual elements of the story, the plot of the story, it's the best plot, I guess, is the best way to
Hmm.
say it. It's the best self-contained plot in the entire MCU. Just the sequence of the story, the way, like the biggest thing I think for me is it didn't fall into that normal third act trap of same versus same, punch, 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 kick, 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 or the underdeveloped villain plot, right? Like it didn't fall into any of those, or the overdeveloped villain, right? Because that's the other thing, right? Because we talked about this, whatever a while ago. Marvel has this tendency now to not underdevelop their villains, but make their villains too much like a hero to the point
Hmm.
where they aren't really villains anymore. Where you can hate them, right? We're talking about this in terms of, I think, Taskmaster, right?
Oh
Marvel has
yeah,
this
in
tendency
Black Widow, yeah.
with the Ghost and Taskmaster and those people to kind of make their villains not real villains
Hmm.
and just be misunderstood heroes. And this time, they didn't fall into that trap. You hated the villains in this movie. Now you can
Yeah.
argue who the villains of this movie specifically were in terms of all those other aspects. But this did feel like one of the better movies in terms of not falling into that trap, not having a big massive CGI fight at the end, because there was the end fight was not CGI filled,
Hmm.
which is very good, which I'm very happy about.
Thank God a
Yeah.
Marvel movie isn't the final fight isn't CGI filled.
And a lot of big action movies in general, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of examples of movies obviously that are very CGI heavy at the end, and I don't think this one was. Now maybe I'm just not remembering things, but as they actually happened, because again, it's been a while. But actually, it's only been like 5 days, but but I think that it definitely felt better than everything else. But yeah, let's talk about the end credit scenes now. Unless you want to say anything else about the movie as a whole or anything.
Oh yeah. No, good movie for real. Yeah, a lot of fun. Lots of laughs, lots of jokes, a lot of fun, very creative, very different.
Ooh, other thing. Remember we were talking about the dinner scene in Black Widow a few days ago?
Hmm.
Or a few weeks ago, I guess. The Eternals dinner scene. Like, is this just a Marvel staple now? Is this just like a something they should just put it on the contract at this point? Every ensemble cast must have an on-screen family dinner.
Hmm. With some sort of different cultural food each time. Like,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. In Spider-Man No Way Home now, Spider-Man, the three Spider-Men and
Fast
some
food,
other
McDonald's.
folks. No. They're gonna have
Yeah, they
like
gotta do fast food. It's
no,
gonna
no, no,
be
no. They're gonna do so. Toby, Andrew, Tom. I don't know who the rest is gonna be, but like, there's
oh
a
my
bunch of
god,
people sitting on
pizza.
the table. Nah. Um.
Toby's gotta deliver the pizza. Yes.
Oh yeah, pizza time.
He's gotta
And
deliver the pizza, he's gotta say
if
pizza
he
time, and then they gotta eat
says,
pizza. That's what it's gotta be.
if Toby Maguire says pizza time in No Way Home, the internet will break.
Imagine if you said in the trailer that we're gonna get soon, hopefully.
It's coming out this Monday apparently.
Don't believe everything, every leak in the world, because I refuse to believe the existence of. I'm gonna go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go straight. I'm gonna go for it. I refuse to believe the existence of a second trailer until I see it.
Ooh, until you see like the title card at the end, at the end of the
Yeah, no,
trailer.
until I've actually seen the whole trailer, I'm not believing that even when it says Spider. No, I
In
do not, and I
theaters
do not believe.
December 17th.
I mean, to be honest, they could, if they were smart, they just wouldn't release another trailer.
Yeah, and then like that'd be the only 3 minutes of footage out of like the 2 hours we're gonna see.
And also, it's funny if you look at all the photos they've released through magazines and stuff. It's all that one bridge.
Yeah, on where like Doc Ock and Spider-Man are gonna fight.
And it's funny. Someone released or someone tweeted something, and it was, and I can't give them credit because I don't remember the tweet, but um, it was really funny, and it was like maybe the whole movie just takes place on that one bridge. The all the like the courtroom scene is just on Zoom in a car on
It,
that bridge, and the
on that
entire movie
bridge.
just actually takes place on that one bridge. And I was like, I mean, would that be the craziest thing ever? Like, I know it's a joke, but that would be funny if it just turned out the entire movie took place on the one bridge.
Yo, listen to this title from Games Radar. I already love the sound of this title. I love this. Spider-Man No Way Home is not going to be fun. It's going to be brutal.
Well,
Do you
that's
have
because
any
that's what
idea
Tom Holland had
how
an interview
awesome that
where he
sounds?
said you're gonna feel pain and suffering because Spider-Man's gonna suffer.
You have any
Like,
idea
yeah,
how
that's
much
not what.
awesome, how much more awesome it's going to be? Brutal. Any movie that's brutal is already awesome.
I think you just want to see Tom Holland suffer.
No, I like brutal movies. Just like, but not only that, Tobey Maguire.
But see, brutal could also have a double meaning because you could argue sitting through certain movies is brutal because you want to peel your eyes out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and look, it's not like Sony doesn't have a history of making movies where you want to peel your eyes out.
Hmm.
I mean, the Emoji Movie existed.
Don't you dare bring the Emoji Movie into Marvel in the same conversation. Okay, there's levels to this. You got Marvel, which is like all the way at the top, right? And Emoji Movie is like way below.
But Sony. Also, Morbius looks awful.
Oh, oh yeah, that trailer is just
It looks awful. And maybe it's just my hatred for Jared Leto, but I'm not excited for that at all.
Who's gonna
I'll
watch that
watch it,
movie?
obviously, but I'm not excited to watch it. I'm gonna go
Okay,
in and say, I don't want to watch this.
imagine if that movie's actually good and like you have positive receptions of it.
No,
No,
I
it's
will
just
never
imagine like
positively. I don't care. I'm not positively. I'll tell you now for a fact that I'm not positively receiving that movie. Even if it's the greatest movie to ever be made, I will not. And especially if they shoehorn in Spider-Man characters like from the MCU, I will not. I will hate the movie. I don't even care. I will tell you right now for a fact. No matter how good it is, I will hate it.
all right. Oh, the runtime came out for No Way Home.
Yeah, 2.5, right?
Two and a
Or
half.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at
Okay.
this point, just make a guess. It's 2.5 probably.
Makes
Everything's
sense.
2.5.
With like all the characters that are gonna be in there. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom
Remember,
Holland.
Infinity War was this like it's gonna be about as long as Infinity War felt
Yeah,
or
yeah,
what,
that's true.
right? Like
Or Eternals.
or Eternals, exactly. But
Yeah.
look how much they talk. They you get like people forget how much you can do in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, 2.5 hours too short. Like
That's enough. That's actually a
here's
good
a
time.
reason good filmmakers are called good filmmakers. Not because they put together. It's so easy for Zack Snyder to put together a four. I mean, not easy, but it's much easier for Zack Snyder to put together a 4 hour cut of a movie or a 17,000 hour cut of a movie. I don't know how long. I don't remember how long it was. It feels like it was more than 4 hours. Um, it's a lot harder to make it a 2.5 hour movie, which covers all that stuff and is still as good.
Zack Snyder's. I gotta see how long this Snyder cut is.
I don't know why I'm just on this Zack Snyder hate train right now.
4 hours and two
All the Zack
minutes.
Snyder people are just gonna unsubscribe and are gonna
Yes,
start.
4 hours.
Oh, and they'll
Damn.
probably also leave the dislikes and Snyder. I don't know. I
No,
don't
but
know
two
why.
hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes is already a good enough time because of the amount of characters you're gonna have in this movie, right?
But also remember, like there's an art to filmmaking. Like I'm someone who I hated the fact that Infinity or the Endgame was 3 hours. I didn't think it needed to be 3 hours. I think it wasted half an hour of time. I think you
Mhm.
could have made it just as good. Actually, you could have elevated the quality of the movie if you cut down some of the fluff and some of the unneeded things. Because there was so much unneeded things. There were so many tonal changes. You could have cut it. You could have cut probably 15 to 30 minutes off that movie.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this many times, but there's so much stuff. And I think we did an audio commentary on that one. And I think I mentioned where you could cut things out. There's certain moments where it's like, great, don't really care, don't need this. Some of it's good stuff, some of it's not. You know. Now the other thing about Eternals actually I want to mention quickly is there was reading at the beginning, and I'm not even gonna lie, that scared me.
Oh, in Eternals?
Yeah, it
In the
scared me. Now the
beginning.
reason it scared me was because at least off my brain, never in a Marvel movie, and I'm pretty sure in reality, never in a Marvel movie have you had to read at the beginning. And I don't know why, but in my head, I
Wait.
saw CinemaSins sitting in this movie saying narration or reading at the beginning, and I was very scared for some reason because I was worried. Oh no, if they're making you read at the beginning and you're reading a lot of dense concepts, people are just gonna get lost. And it turned out to be fine, and I was wrong about that one. But I'm not gonna lie, when I had to read, I was scared because I was worried they were gonna basically try to do a big exposition dump, and it turned out to be good.
Wait, I'm trying to think of it, a Marvel movie where there's been a reading at the beginning, but I
There you
can't
have it.
think of any. Yeah,
There's
exactly. There ain't been none.
I said I don't think so, but yeah, there hasn't. Unless I just didn't watch a Marvel movie, which is a possibility, I guess. But I've never had to read before. Like Star Wars is all the time, but that was different, and that was very
Mhm.
unique to it too.
Yeah,
That's
well,
that's the one
in Star Wars, it's a tradition, right? So you're obviously gonna
was
want to
there a
maintain
title
that.
card?
No, I don't think so. Just
Like,
a
was there
Marvel
an actual Eternals
Studios.
title card? Because they had the Marvel logo, but then
Yeah,
did they actually have the Eternals? Like,
no,
do they do that anymore? Am I just like dumb?
they did it in Endgame last time, and
Did they?
Black Widow.
Did they? Or am I just dumb? I might just be dumb.
Sure. No, they did. Last time they did it was in Black Widow, but I don't think they did it in Eternals. They did it
Did
in Endgame.
did they actually have a title card with Black Widow?
I don't. Yeah, they did. When like there was that trafficking scene. on like right in the middle of the screen came up Black Widow.
Did they do it for Eternals? I don't think they did.
No.
Now it could be dumb and they've only like Black Widow was the only one they did it for. I don't think that was the case, but like because I don't remember them doing it for Endgame. I might just be completely blanking though. Like it's very possible I'm just completely wrong. Okay, anyways, we will leave that, and if it comes to me, we will talk about that again. But let's talk about the end credit scenes because
Yeah. Oh yeah. True.
So let's talk about the first one first. Yes, so we got to see Eros,
Thanos' brother.
Thanos' brother, Star Fox. I've said 3 versions of the same character. This makes sense. People are going to say, "Oh, he's not green or purple." I don't know why I said. Okay. He's not purple. Yeah. The way that the whole parentage and stuff works with them and stuff, it all makes sense. Eros has been a
human.
Interesting part actually because I remember the one comic I've read where Star Fox has been a major part was Kate's started Kate's Guardians of the Galaxy run where it was after Thanos had died, and I believe again I might just be completely misremembering, but Star Fox had basically sent all these factions of the Guardians, because at this point there's like a bunch of different factions of the Guardians, onto like quests to find things to bring Thanos back to life. I could just be completely misremembering and confusing plots, but I think or Thanos' will or something. It was something like that. Yeah, it was something. I don't know. But yeah, that was the thing. And so it'd be interesting because the second he showed up, I was like, okay, guess where these guys are showing up next?
Who?
Some of the Eternals and Star Fox.
No Way Home?
Nope.
Uh,
I gave you a hint in my weird rambly explanation. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is being set up to have some impact. Because look, there's only 2 movies where these Eternals, the main characters, will have any possible chance of showing up. The Marvels and Guardians 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Those are the only 2 movies that we know of where it makes logical sense for the Eternals to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you're stretching it, Ant-Man. But that's it. And I guess again, if you're stretching it, Doctor Strange and Ant-Man are stretching it possibilities. The logical ones are that we know of exist are those movies I just said. Other than that, though, there's no other logical place for them to show up. Guardians 3 would be interesting. The Marvels would be I think more likely, to be honest. At least to be more involved with the storyline because again these are both space movies, right?
Yeah.
Movies that are going to take place primarily probably in space. Obviously for the Marvels we don't know what the hell is going to happen with that one, but Guardians very likely is going to take place in space, so it's very likely that will be kind of a situation there.
Yeah. And the second post-credit scene where Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, picks up his sword, then we hear a suspicious voice. You thought it was Mahershala Ali's blade.
No, we know. No, I think.
Oh, yeah, it does sound like him, to be honest.
She confirmed it. Chloe Zhao confirmed it.
It does sound like him. It sounded like Ali.
I didn't know who it was. I just kind of didn't even think about who it was until I saw
Wesley
that
Snipes.
she had confirmed it. Then I was like, oh, that makes sense. Cool. Like I had no care about who it was, to be honest. I was more excited about the ebony blade because that looks awesome. I'm so excited for it.
Wesley Snipes, not Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes could end up being in the movie.
I hope he does.
But then again, no one likes working with him, so maybe not.
Ah.
You know who'd be cool? Well, so this is the thing. My thinking, and I kind of said this in my my partial reaction or review kind of thing, whatever, of the movie, which ended up being 23 minutes somehow. I said at some point, like, this feels like it's a very weird Midnight Suns setup, right? Like,
Mid- Midnight Sun, what is that?
so essentially Midnight Suns are like a group of people led by Blade, a group of like dark superheroes, kind of.
Hmm.
And I feel like Black Knight being kind of like, I guess, the villain of that, along with like, or maybe a part of the group with like, guys like, let's say, a Ghost Rider, or maybe if Marvel really is interested in this, Morbius comes over, right? And you have that. Or, you've got like Wolverine, let's say, hypothetically. Again, we don't know what the actual group of them are going to look like because, we don't know who the MC is introducing. But that'll be an interesting way to go if you kind of have like this kind of team up situation going on. But Blade being involved and be with a guy who has the ebony sword, which is a awesome sword which can cut through like vibranium, adamantium, and basically everything with ease, is very, very cool. And okay, so what would you like to see happen with this and with Blade and these guys?
Well, obviously, Mahershala Ali solo Blade movie, obviously, to get himself
Yeah,
established in the MCU. But
and
then
I'm
once,
assuming the Black Knight will probably show up in that somehow.
yeah, and then once that happens, once you establish Black Knight and Blade, time into, the Eternals, bring them into a larger group.
Do you do that, or do you do you separate it kind of, I guess?
No, I'd say bring the two of them in together at the same time into like Eternals 2.
Because this is the weird thing, right? Which I've kind of been thinking about a lot more recently, is what is the MCU's plan? Because it feels like the MCU is setting up, and obviously I know Kevin Feige obviously knows more than I do or you do, but it feels like right now, at least from what we can see, it feels like they're setting up for three very distinct stories.
Hmm.
Now, there's some of them which can, or actually a little bit more than three, like four distinct stories, right? They're setting up this weird anti-Avengers team with, you know, um, Black Widow and Falcon the Winter Soldier, right?
Hmm.
They're setting up Kang and kind of that kind of thing with, all the Loki and WandaVision and um, and this kind of multiverse time kind of situation with that, which you can then they're setting up this Judgment Day Celestial storyline,
Yeah.
which you can tie obviously into Kang because Kang has had, that all kind of works together. And then Doctor Strange obviously Spider-Man all kind of tying that. Then now you're kind of also setting up over here, and I'm putting it now a different place, kind of imply this because people can't see me, so they don't know that. But you're also kind of setting up then this Blade story, right?
Yeah.
With this now Black Knight, and it feels very much in my mind like there's three very different stories kind of being set up secretly behind the scenes type things. Well, if you look back at the first kind of whatever first few phases of the MCU, that was always very clear. The plot being set up was Thanos, right?
Yeah.
There was, at least as well as I again can remember, there was no real setup of another storyline completely not new, right?
Hmm.
Like they kind
Yeah.
of set up Civil War. That was kind of a thing, right? But I feel like these are three very distinct storylines. Like because typically the MCU end credit scenes would be setting up the next movie or setting up the Thanos thing.
Yeah. That was their goal. Yeah.
And I feel like they never, and now they're kind of like, it feels like I don't think either any of these things are like next movie type things because they're being set up so widely. Like, like obviously you're setting up for Blade, but you're also setting up, maybe, I guess, like we don't even know what's happening. Obviously Eternals will get a sequel, but we don't know when, right? So it'll be a
Yeah.
long time until we see that, probably.
Yeah. They said in
And
like at the end of the post-credit scene that the Eternals are gonna return.
yeah, they'll be back. But the question is,
Yeah.
again, in what form, in when, like, because they'll probably return, like we're saying, before their sequel. So then, their sequel gets pushed down because their sequel probably is not coming before like a Blade or something like that, which is, imminent, right? It'll probably be 3 or 4 years before we get an
After Blade.
Eternal sequel.
After
Like Black
Blade.
Panther hasn't gotten a sequel yet,
Mhm.
So obviously there'd be other issues with that. But
Eternals 2 after Blade.
yeah, but the question
Yeah.
again is when we don't even know when Blade's coming out, right? Like that's the thing. It's like
Yeah. Trying to think.
we had some
Let's let,
hypotheses.
let, let's say Blade comes out in 2023, and then while and then like they can simultaneously like work, like Blade is in the middle of premiering while Eternals is in the works, that Eternals can come out 1 year later in 2024.
So but then what happened? Like, I think the weird thing is they've kind of given us 3 years, which feels like an eternity of movies and TV shows and content, but they've only
Eternity.
really given us essentially 3 years of content.
Eternity. Eternals.
See,
Nice,
I'm
nice. I
so good.
like
I
that.
do this
I
without
like
even
that. I
trying
like
now.
that.
But yeah, it's very weird and I think the other thing is, on the 12th on Disney Plus Day when they release their Marvel thing that they're doing
Is Disney Plus Day
on the 12th. That's not
on the
today.
12th?
Yeah.
Oh god, there's gonna be a bunch of trailers coming out.
Well, so apparently, I don't know how this is working, but apparently what they're doing is they're going to release in the morning at some point. I think 8 a.m. or something. Or that's 8 Pacific time. I don't know what time that is here.
It's
Um,
after, yeah, I think it's Los Angeles time because that's where they obviously are.
well,
Or
yeah, it's Pacific time, but I just don't know what it's. I think it's like whatever 11 or something. Or I guess 3 hours.
or or like Atlanta time because Atlanta's where they film. Like the production itself happens in all their studios.
I'm pretty sure it's 3 hours, so it's 11. It'll probably be 11 here, whatever, 11
What
to 1 or whatever. They're going
what
to be
trailer is
releasing
releasing?
a Disney. They're releasing a bunch of stuff like actual stuff on Disney Plus, and apparently they're releasing like a Marvel special where they're going to I assume announce things, right? Or it's like a featurette type thing, but they're gonna have announcements in there. That's what I think it's gonna be. I don't know because they said they're gonna. I have no clue what's going on with that. It's not gonna be DC Fandom, but it's gonna be very very weird. So they're gonna be releasing a lot of content, and then they're gonna also like. I actually don't know what they're doing. But
Are
if
the
anything, I
trailers
think we'll get
coming
more
out?
announcements there. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Are the trailers coming out on Disney Plus, or are they going to be on the internet, like on YouTube too?
Don't know.
Is it the first time they're doing Disney Plus Day, or?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, makes sense. Yeah.
I know they've got an investor call like the day before, day after it. So that'll probably also be a time for them to announce things. I've got no clue what they're doing. I have no clue what the plan is. I don't. I'm in the dark. So I don't like being in the dark, but I am. So I like. What do you think they're doing? What do you think they're setting up, or what do you think they should be setting up?
Spider-Man No Way Home trailer number 2.
Okay, no, but I mean like beyond that, like when you come like the future of the MCU when it comes to these three storylines.
Potential, um, I guess, like we mentioned, probably in the announcement of another Blade movie, Eternal sequel, Black Knight,
X-Men, remember those things
X-Men.
don't exist. Those have to come give movies too.
Yeah, they got to get their own MCU kind of. But yeah, I think it's
And
just
that introduction then
movies.
will take, be something we'll have to do. We're gonna have to eventually Disney's gonna say, "Hello, Kevin, we need an Avengers movie. Money, money, money."
Wait. Is the Eternals the start of Phase 4?
No, Black Widow.
Outline all Phase 4. You've only had 2 movies in Phase 4 so
Three,
far. I think.
three.
What was the other
Shang-Chi.
one? Shang-Chi. Right. 3 movies in Phase 4 so far. List
Also
them all off.
3 TV shows.
And 3 TV shows. But I think they're
Well, four
probably
TV shows. Sorry, I forgot about What If.
so you had already 7 projects in Phase 4. Sorry, I don't care. Just give us more movies. List
Oh,
them
and then
off.
Hawkeye starts in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Ooh.
It's
Ooh.
right toward one of those last 2 weeks of the month. I think the
Oh, okay.
26th, if I'm not mistaken. So wait, that means they're moving. I don't know. Yeah. So and then obviously Spider-Man is in December,
Yeah, Spider-Man's next month. Yeah.
and then they pushed everything else back and whatever. And then the Miss Marvel show is in January.
Mhm.
Because they moved that back to 2020. We might get a trailer for that on Disney Plus Day. Disney Plus Day, I assume will be more TV show based.
Yeah, yeah, that's where they're going to be releasing their TV shows as well. They're not going to put TV
Well,
shows in the
because it
movie
feels like Disney
theater.
Plus Day is about Disney Plus stuff, and Disney Plus stuff will be the TV shows, not the movies.
Mhm. It's things
Just my
intended for Disney Plus.
Now, can they drop bomb? Like Secret Invasion is gonna be something that's coming out on Disney Plus, right? As a show
Mhm.
with Sam Jackson and the Skrulls and stuff, and a bunch of other people who are famous.
Yeah.
But again, I have no clue what that's setting up. Because are we gonna also set up a Skrull invasion while we're setting up every other thing we're setting up? Like, I don't know what's happening. But I'm excited to find out. So that's that. That's a thing.
Yeah, this November 12th. What's the date today? Today is the 9th. 3 days.
So I think, do you want to leave MCU rankings till like next time so we have something to
Yeah,
talk?
next time. Yeah.
I say next time because I'm not gonna say next week because I don't know.
Yeah, we can do it next time. It's all good.
So let's talk about the next thing. Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man No
Or do you
Way
want to move
Home.
Spider-Man and then we can talk about.
Okay. All right.
Let's talk about partial Spider-Man stuff.
Okay, so I want to show you something. The audience can't see this. I have a pen in my hand.
Yes, you do.
I got a law and morality paper here. Actually, no, I'm not going to write on this because I need it to study for the exam.
Okay.
I'm going to use
Good
a
idea.
different paper. I'm going to use this.
Okay.
What day is it today? Today is November 9th, okay?
Tuesday, November 9th. It's 11:57 p.m.
Tuesday,
in 2021.
November 9,
I'm gonna tell the audience now. Full disclosure, no clue what's going on.
11:37 p.m. Alon predicts.
Oh, prediction. Okay.
Charlie Cox.
I don't know if he realizes he can just clip the audio, but
I'm just writing
guess
this on
it's
paper for like physical evidence.
my prediction. I just clip the audio if I have a prediction, and I'm like, or I just don't clip the audio if I have a wrong prediction. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing about a public audio feed thing, is that
Okay.
you can just clip the audio and then you can use it to your advantage when you're right, or just hide it when you're wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is Tuesday, November 29th, 2021. It is currently 11:38 p.m. Alon,
I agree.
I'm currently predicting that in Spider-Man No Way Home, Charlie Cox's Daredevil will be in the movie, and Tom Hardy's Venom will make an appearance. I am establishing this now. This is a prediction I'm going to stick strongly with, and we are going to have to wait until December 17th to see if it's correct. Hopefully it is.
Or they'll put both of them in the trailer.
Yeah.
Is that a hot take prediction now?
Perceive it however you want to.
Okay. You know what? I like this game. I'm gonna do something too.
All right, go for it.
On Tuesday, November, yada yada yada. The internet. This is very much. This is not edited, obviously. Probably should be, but isn't. I'm going to make the prediction that that Daredevil will not be in this movie.
Okay, hold on. I'll write it down so that we have an account of it.
I don't paper around, so I can't do that.
Okay.
It's Tuesday, November 9th, 11:39 p.m. And I'm going to make the real bold prediction here.
Ooh.
Charlie Cox's Daredevil will not show up in the movie.
Khalil says Charlie Cox Daredevil will not be in No Way Home.
And further, that
further,
although there will be a few surprise cameos.
Although,
Andrew
okay.
Garfield's Spider-Man will not be one of them.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield.
And specifically Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man will not be in.
Now I need to add a little bit of context to this, okay? I'm not saying Andrew Garfield will not appear in the movie, nor am I saying he will not appear in the movie as Spider-Man. I'm saying the Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man universe played by Andrew Garfield will not show up in the movie. And further, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man will also not. No, actually, you know what? I'm gonna make this even bigger. No character, even including Doc Ock, is from either the original Spider-Man Tobey Maguire universe or the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Even like, okay, all right, I'll write that down.
None of them. They are now. Well, could Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield both show up as Spider-Man? Of course, but they will not be the Spider-Man from those movies, right? They will not be the same Spider-Man. It's obviously Doc Ock is showing up. We saw Green Goblin in the poster.
Willem Dafoe is going to be there for sure.
Well, we saw his suit in the poster, right? But they will not be the people from those movies. They will just happen to be played by those people. Now, this could be very likely to be a very wrong prediction, or I could be surprisingly onto something that no one saw coming because, I don't know. If I'm right, I will not only clip this, but I'm not even kidding. This will be the greatest accomplishment of my entire life if I predict correctly the outcome of this movie, because I think there's a legitimate chance that there's all this stuff about, okay, yes, they're in this movie, but they aren't really the characters from that universe. They're just, because people are making the jump, well, they must be in it because multiverse. But what if they're in it, but it's not necessarily, it could still be multiverse related, but maybe it isn't and I feel like there'll be some ambiguity when it happens. So I feel like there'll be an argument for me that I was right, but that's just a hunch. No actual information. I
got some predictions right here. This paper right here. I wrote your prediction where you said
very, very long, detailed. With a lot of caveats and asterisks.
Or like Toby,
I don't know.
Toby and Andrew will not be the Spider-Man. No character shown will be in No Way Home, like Alfred Molina and
because remember what I'm saying. Alfred Molina, we know he's in the movie. We know Willem Dafoe's in the movie. We know they're playing Green Goblin and Doc Ock respectively, right? But they're not going to be playing them from those movies, right? Like they will not be continuations of those characters.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me edit that. Let me fix that.
Obviously, I'm not saying okay, it's all fake and it's not all they're not in this movie. I do believe they are, but I don't believe they're from those universes. Like if Tobey Maguire appears as Spider-Man, he may be from a different universe, but he will not be from the original Tobey Maguire Peter Parker universe.
Okay, I see what you. Okay.
So that's the thing, and I think this might be I don't know if it's a hot take. I think it's a hot take because everyone just assumes.
Very sizzling, like hotter than fish.
Why everyone just assumes like, okay, Tobey Maguire's in it, and therefore it must be him from that movie. Like, what if Tobey Maguire turns out to be a guy who delivers pizza and dresses up like Spider-Man just for fun?
Or a Skrull.
Or maybe that one will be the okay. Based on what they did in Far From Home, it'd be funny if that was the one thing that you got right. It was like, oh, the Skrulls. I think you should stand by that. No, Doctor Strange and the entire cast is a Skrull. The only person who's real is Peter Parker. No. So in the at the end when Nick Fury's on that beach, right? It's a simulation of a beach.
Yeah.
The entire movie is a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Peter's just in a simulation the entire time.
And like he was being surrounded by Skrulls that entire time too.
No, he's just on some space station somewhere in his own and nothing in the movie really happened.
Yeah.
It was all to
Okay.
teach him a lesson about. It was all. It turns out he was in a prison, and they put him in there in this world as punishment to make him feel pain and suffering as a form of torture.
That's some serious psychological torture there.
Yeah, I'm basically ripping off the plot of Batman Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum. All right.
Whatever. We'll go with it. We'll roll with it.
So
That would be funny though. That would be some meta trippy stuff, but that would be funny. Okay, that would be the most funny thing to happen is if they put him through a simulation to make him feel pain and torture, to punish him and teach him a lesson about responsibility and great power. The entire MCU is really just being a simulation, and Peter Parker's being the only real character.
that would change the MCU forever and the way we watch it if that's actually true.
That would be so funny. No. The MCU is all fake. Kevin Feige shows up, and it's his simulation.
He breaks the fourth wall and he says, "Oh hey, it's fake," and then the end credits roll.
And then the MCU's over.
Yeah.
It turns out every movie after Far From Home is a hoax. It isn't real.
All right, so this is your prediction.
I don't know what we've gone on to.
This is your prediction right here. All right, this is mine. I'm gonna put these together. I'm gonna store them up here. We're coming back to this after we see No Way Home. It's in a safe place.
Also, the audio exists, but for proof.
For physical proof.
Yeah. But yeah, Spider-Man. That's gonna be a good movie probably, or it won't be able to destroy the MCU. And now I'm thinking about it.
December 17th, folks.
The MCU will be destroyed.
Yeah.
Also, can we just clarify something, just so people on the internet know?
Mm-hmm.
Despite what certain YouTubers say, VFX teams don't edit trailers.
That is true.
There's a reason. So I'm going to read you this tweet. It's from a source. I'm going to leave all the I'm going to leave the source name out. I'm going to obviously say the account name, but because I don't want to call out somebody. So it's binge watch this. So the ad is at binge watch this _. The delay on the next Spider-Man No Way Home trailer is reportedly due to the VFX team worrying that they may not finish the film on time for release and can't even think about editing a trailer right now.
So, okay, this movie's coming out in December 17th. That's in about a month and 8 days. Oh, wow, it's actually pretty close. But really, like...
Okay, how many things are wrong with that tweet?
What's that?
How many things are wrong with that tweet?
Probably a lot.
Yes. So, A, the way this tweet frames it is that the VFX team is sitting here in a circle, basically saying, I don't know if we're moving off the movement time. I'm very worried about that. A, that's A. B, because they can't even think about editing. Like, it's very dramatic. B, they don't edit the trailer. The VFX team does the VFX, and then the editing team does the trailer edit. It's very different things. C, if the real comment is the VFX footage for the trailer isn't finished, well, then they have ways of doing that. They also have it's also not like the craziest thing for unfinished VFX to be used in a trailer. That's the third part of this, and I guess the fourth part of this is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a fourth part of this, but basically it's a very wrong tweet. Don't listen to stupid people who say stupid things. If it looks fake, it's probably fake.
I'll be back. You continue.
Yes, I will continue. Don't worry. I will continue back. And I think that it is a kind of a disappointing thing when people start using kind of this fake narrative to try to push things. Yeah, but it's very interesting when you try to push things that aren't true, and when you intentionally try to mislead people. And I got distracted and stopped talking for a second, but you know, I think it's very interesting for um, when people kind of start believing this stuff, and it becomes a problem when major people pick up on people like on sources that aren't actually accurate. And so I think that is very I don't know. I just think it's a very weird situation. But uh, yeah, that's the thing. It's a very weird situation, and it's all like that tweet I read was all false. Um, I'm going to very very much what was I saying? Saying something. This is the point where I like to stop talking, but I can't. Oh wait, I can stop talking now. Yay!
I'm gonna pretend I know
Because I
what
think I
we're
just said
talking
like a
about.
lot of the same thing for a good 5 minutes. Because see, this is the thing. So I was whatever talking, and I was like, on this roll, and then because it was on Twitter, the notification popped up saying they suspended Jokic for a game, and they
Ah,
fined Jimmy Butler, and they suspended Morris for a game, and now I'm like distracted, and I then forgot what I was saying, and then it just became a snowball rolling down a hill, even though
honestly,
Jokic was
Jokic should not be suspended, to be honest.
he was right. This is all like this is a systematic problem from the NBA. I'm gonna go on 2 rants about how things are systematic from the NBA or the Oscars. This is just becoming a weird show. Um, wait, was Morris not suspended? Was he just fined? Jimmy Butler's fined too, which is nice. I was surprised Tyler. It's funny. There's another tweet where it's like because there's like that picture of Tyler Hero in front of you, and this relates to comics, I promise. Tyler Hero is like in front of Jokic, and someone
Yeah.
tweets like, you know, oh please don't Tyler Hero telling Jokic, oh please don't do that. That's not very nice. And not even kidding. When I was reading that, I read it with Tom Holland's voice
Oh.
in my head of Peter Parker. You can tell me you don't see that. You don't hear that in your head when you see someone like a picture of like Tyler Hero standing like in front of like big Jokic who just like, pushed over Markieff Morris and Tyler Hero there standing saying something in Tom Holland's Peter Parker voice. Oh, sir, please don't do that. That's not very nice.
Honestly, I got Jokic beating the entire Miami Heat roster in a fight
Oh, for sure. Oh, Jokic and
easily.
his brothers. But yeah, yeah. Anyways, I don't know.
Yeah, free Jokic.
Um. Okay, next. Do you want to hear my James Bond pitch?
Yes.
Okay. And I know we're gonna have to like wrap it up at some point, but right now James Bond, very important, and then we'll do box office and some other stuff. Um. Okay, so this is very again half baked, very like not thought out, and it could be thought out, and I'm sure if I thought it out, it would be very good. So this kind of relates to what we were talking about kind of initially when we heard about Bond and the theoretical idea. So what if Bond was so it turned they kind of did what they wanted to, I guess, do, which is kind of connect the Bond movies together, right? And
Mm.
what they did was they actually kind of ended up reveal and there's might be some spoilers for Bond, the new one, whatever, No Time to Die. So, if you haven't seen that, go watch it and then come back, I guess. I don't know. But what if they had it so that they revealed essentially, like, through death or something, that James Bond was never actually one person, but instead
It was like
there
a
was this
network of
like, a big
spies.
government conspiracy where every time a Bond died, they would kind of create program or something, take someone and program them to be James Bond essentially. And the reason they would do this, right, besides being morally corrupt and all the usual stuff the government is, right, is because James Bond is a scary idea to people, right? Like if you're a bad guy, right, the idea of James Bond is very scary to you,
Yeah.
right? And what James Bond then can become, or that movie could have become, was Daniel Craig kind of figuring this out and realizing, because and it kind of does kind of tie back to that idea of James Bond not being a number or not being like a person necessarily, right? Like one individual person. And what it allows it to do is kind of be its own story, but it also allows James Bond to be the super spy, right?
Yeah.
And do a lot more of those super spy things rather than being the action star, which I know was your big issue with the movie was action star versus super spy, right? Your comment of the suit thing makes more sense now, right? In terms of that idea of super spy, right? And it would allow for James Bond to kind of be a little bit more of that spy than an action hero, right? Where he kind of is going through this kind of government conspiracy and realizing what's going on. And I feel like it would fit a little bit better as a send off to an extent. And I don't know how you end it or whatever. Again, not it's a very half baked, but the idea of all these bonds just basically being the government needing a James Bond and James Bond is always doing dangerous stuff and eventually ends up dying, and because obviously it's unrealistic to assume he's just keeps surviving, and the reason James Bond can always exist but has different faces since the beginning of time is because it's never been the same person. It's just been someone who's been kidnapped by the government and essentially brainwashed or programmed to be James Bond, because without James Bond, the criminal underworld, let's say theoretically, would go crazy because there would be nothing. They wouldn't be scared of anybody.
Sounds a little too Jason Bourne-ish.
Does it though? Because I don't know. I feel like there's a way to do it where it works. I don't know. I think it's better. I think it would be more true to James Bond than what we got.
It's good, but it's just a little too Jason Bourne-ish with the little programming and brainwashing thing, because that's
Like,
what
and
they're.
again, I don't know how that would like I don't really know how the whole thing would work, but it feels like the dynamic between the government and MI6 and James Bond, like the way they kind of treat him, it feels like it would work and would be realistic, right? And it kind of like it's not like it's a very unreal like the government not valuing a human life and not caring about morality and stuff. Is that the craziest concept in the world? Probably not. Definitely not. Like I don't know. I think it would be it would be a closer way to do what they wanted to do, but also be a little bit more James Bondy.
uh like I said, it's a little too Jason Bourne-ish, but like
Is it better than what we got?
it is better than what we got, but people want James Bond for an action star, like they want to see James Bond wearing suits and shaken not stirred, and with pretty women and in fancy cars and fancy places, and they want to see him like do that and take on, you know, like independent of, MI6, just do his thing.
But MI6 is kind of connected to his character.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that would be an interesting thing, right? Because I think their intention at least was they wanted to kind of partially connect all the James Bonds. Now they did that by killing him, but they wanted to kind of connect them, and you know because I remember we were talking about this. The initial thing was the idea of this was the big kind of connecting of all the James Bond, and I don't know. I feel like that would connect them a little bit better, but also be its own kind of story, and also not be too pandery, I guess.
Yeah.
Like pandery to the general audience over the typical James Bond fan. Like, I think it would be a better balance.
I think in No Time to Die, talking specifically, the first scene in Italy, it could have set up such a better story. Can Bond trust his girlfriend because now he finds out that she's working with Spectre? So I think if they did that throughout the entire movie, that if he can trust her, like, that could have been the conflict in the movie, and that could have been a great story. But I don't know why they didn't continue with that, because the first scene was great, but then to continue with that, can Bond trust his girlfriend? Can Bond trust anyone? Can he even trust MI6, his own people?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And then like to
yeah.
have those internal conflicts within himself about trust, who to trust and who not to.
I definitely see that. I think that but I now I understand after I've talked to a bunch more people who've kind of been like Bond fans who haven't loved it. So far, every Bond fan I've talked to has not loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it, but maybe it's also because I'm not as connected to the character. But and now that I've kind of talked to a bunch of Bond fans, and they've all kind of been like, yeah, it was good, or some of them are saying just flat out bad. But like I think you said, yeah, it was good, but it was not James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, it's just this I guess habit of trying to make it a cinematic universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to set up James Bond spin-offs, and you're trying to set up a big James Bond cinematic universe and
The
all this stuff. And
Spyverse.
but people, you don't want this guy to be just. You want it to be just James Bond being James Bond and doing stories and it being relatively disconnected. And if, and I think something like a government conspiracy of some sort, right, like that would be a cool way to kind of connect, but also leave it as its own story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, whichever James Bonds are still alive, you can bring for cameos, which would not be a bad thing.
Uh,
I don't know how many of them are alive still.
Pierce Brosnan.
Is that it?
No longer Roger Moore. No longer Sean Connery.
Yeah. Plus, I'm sure you have deleted footage.
Yeah, Daniel Craig's dead. His Bond is
Daniel
dead.
Craig's not dead.
No, his Bond. Or maybe even Timothy Dalton.
Well, I meant more whichever Bonds or whichever actors are not dead. Right, like.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, those guys.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that was the one thing I wanted to pitch to was that because I thought that was like I was thinking about that and that was kind of like my idea of like what they wanted to do versus what they did. Also, I don't remember what was your thoughts on the Billie Eilish. You didn't like the Billie Eilish theme, right?
After I saw it in the movie with the actual like opening sequence of it, it was much better.
Did you like? Because the other thing I heard was that this movie was very much like the thing about the Billie Eilish theme, even though it fit tonally, it didn't feel cinematic or orchestraic as like the Adele theme or
Adele or Sam Smith.
Exactly. Those were much more big themes.
They were.
This was it felt like a lot more of a depressed theme, which made sense obviously with the movie, but wasn't again James Bond.
Mm-hmm. And Skyfall by Adele and Writings on the Wall by Sam Smith are by far the best Daniel Craig James Bond songs. But as soon as you see like
the best one, yeah.
Skyfall the best one, and then Writings on the Wall is up there too. But as soon as like you'll see No Time to Die by Billie Eilish with the opening credits, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought it made sense with the tone, but I understand also not liking it because it is much less than usual cinematic kind of big orchestra kind of James Bond theme. But we've talked about James Bond. There's a podcast episode where we talk about it. Go check that out if you want to hear our thoughts on it. Look at our plugging ourselves. It's great. Let's Okay, the two routes. Do you want to talk box office quickly?
Yeah, let's do box office.
Okay. We haven't done one in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you have the one, whatever. I don't think we actually did an Eternal. When was the last week we did it?
Hold on, let me check.
And we'll just do it again for I guess next week now, right?
Let's see.
The week that we last did.
The last time we did it was when No Time to Die came out.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we did one, and I said let's skip the week. Let's go to Eternals or Dune or something.
Mm-hmm. Eternals made 71 million.
It did.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Big win.
Yeah.
Especially considering half the major markets in the world won't release it because of a kiss.
China. Oh yeah, China.
And Saudi.
And Saudi Arabia and yeah.
And like all those countries over in the Middle And Russia.
And Russia, yeah.
Also,
Wait. Oh, God.
going back to Eternals, the first Marvel sex scene, that was interesting.
Wait, hold on. If countries in the Middle East banned it, hold on. I gotta see if Israel's on that list too, because Israel's completely different from all its neighbors.
Well, at the Middle Kingdom, I guess, would be with the Dubai and the Qatar and all those places.
Eternals banned in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait.
Yeah.
What countries banned Eternals?
Russia probably did. China probably did.
Russia, yeah, China. No, I don't see Israel.
Israel wouldn't. I don't think would.
No, they wouldn't. They're much different. They're more
They're much more progressive.
They're more classical liberal than their neighbors.
Especially with the new regimes, the more recent.
Yeah.
All
right, box office.
Box office. That's what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so what week was it?
October 17th is what it says here.
Really? I feel like it was before. I feel like we made one after that.
Yeah.
Weekend. 15. Actually, no, 15 to 17 makes sense. No, it was after No Time to Die came out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what was the thing? I'll tell you what it was.
Okay, so you said Halloween Kills, No Time to Die, Venom, The Last Duel, and The Addams Family 2.
I swear to God, I hate everything. Okay, what did you say?
Wait, how many did you get right?
All 5 of them were there. The last 2 were switched.
Oh, we're just on the cusp.
What'd you do?
No Time to Die number 1, Halloween Kills 2, The Last Duel 3, Venom 4, and Addams Family 5.
Yeah, you got them all wrong.
Damn it.
I won, so that's
0 for 5. Let's go, 0 for 5, gang. Hey, we are sad.
Well, don't worry, you might win next time. Although to be fair, you have been killing me in these, besides that last one.
I've been slacking. So. I've been struggling lately.
So this week, the 5th to 7th, Eternals was 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dune was 2. Eternals was 1 with 71 million. Dune was 2 with 7 million. So you can see the big difference. The No Time to Die was 3 with 6 million. Venom Let There Be Carnage was 4th with 4 million. And 5 was Ron's Gone Wrong with 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, right, which would be the weekend of what weekend's next? I don't know. Do you know what weekend's next?
Wednesday, November. Oh wait, okay, we can just check Friday, November 12th.
I didn't need the day.
Movies coming out Friday. Okay, Belfast.
I know the movie, I just need to know the weekend. Because the only movie is here it is. The weekend of the 12th to the 15th to the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
12 to 14.
It's just Belfast. That's it. Belfast. That's the only wide release.
That's not the one. That's next weekend.
Friday, November 12th.
Oh.
Are we doing November 12th or November 16th?
We have to remember there's a random 10th release too. A kids movie, which always ends up doing well.
Wait, so are we doing
Yes, you're right. Belfast.
The 12th?
So there's 2 wide releases. Clifford today on Wednesday, and Belfast on.
And Belfast on
Friday.
Yeah.
Now remember, do never underestimate the power of a kids movie.
Oh yeah, Clifford can actually probably beat Eternals.
The one downfall you've always had in these is you always underestimate the kids movies.
Yeah.
You always underestimate them. The Addams Family I remember was a big one where the first week it came out you were like, it's gonna do nothing. End up being 1 or 2. You forget the power of kids going to the movie theaters on the weekends.
Yeah.
You cannot never underestimate. Now, the big question obviously will be, What's Eternals drop off?
I don't think it's going to drop off. I think it's going
But
to
then
stay up.
again, Clifford. Now, the other thing about Clifford, full disclosure, is Clifford does release also on Paramount Plus, so that might affect something, or it might not. We don't know.
The Eternals
Okay.
only made 71 million in its first weekend.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So that's also something to take into consideration.
So, okay, you go first.
Okay. All right. Number 1, I'm gonna go with Clifford, the big red dog.
Big,
Whatever.
bold move.
The big boy.
Did you see that big bold move, Clifford the big red dog? I'm funny.
The big bold red dog.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Eternals. That goes
You
without
think the
saying.
Eternals are going to be eaten by the big? I'm trying to think of like a headline
All
when
right.
the Eternals beat Clifford the big red dog stomps all over the Eternals. There we go. I did it. I'm so good. They should just hire me to make their headlines. I'd be very good at it. Clifford the big red dog steps all over Eternals for its massive 60 million box office debut.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Or choose up Eternals.
Okay. All right. I got
I
my
still watch
list.
Clifford, don't I?
I got my list.
I don't want to watch Clifford. I'm trying to decide with myself if I should watch Clifford. I'm probably not going to do it. Let's be honest. Okay, what are read yours out? Sorry.
Okay, I got Clifford, the Eternals, Belfast, Dune, and James Bond.
Okay.
I think Belfast is going to do
You
pretty
also
good.
always either overestimate or I underestimate those movies, like Belfast. I don't know which one it is. Okay.
I think Belfast is going to do good.
I mean, it's going to make more than like whatever the drop off of Dune is from
Mhm.
7. So does it make, let's say, just assume Belfast. Does Belfast make 7 or more? Is the question.
More. It's going to make more, for sure.
And then the question is, when you're a person going to the movies, if you haven't seen Eternals but Belfast is out, what are you choosing? Are you choosing Eternals or are you choosing Belfast? You're probably choosing Eternals,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah, so
if you only go to the movie once, right? And sometimes, and remember, right? Because the thing you have to look at, obviously, when you do this, and I'm acting like there's a big science to this, which I guess technically there is, but not like we actually care, and I just name things. But you got to think about it, because I don't know why I'm saying this, but like you got to think about it, like if you're going to the movies once in a month, and there's a big blockbuster like Eternals, and then there's something like Dune and No Time to Die. Is Belfast really on your list? And how high is it for that month, right? Because obviously people can't go to the movies every single weekend to watch like 700 movies, right?
mhm.
So by the time Belfast comes around toward the end of the month, is that are people less people seeing it? Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think actually, you know what? Write it down. Belfast, 2 million,
Uh,
2-ish million. Because why
all
not?
right. Nice. Awesome.
Okay, mine. Number 1,
Hmm.
Eternals.
Eternals. Oh, you're underestimating now the kids movies.
I'm not understanding the kids movie. I'm overestimating. I know that the hybrid streaming will be a thing that'll affect it. I know Eternals is just not going to have as big of a drop off, and I know Clifford will not make over like 30 million.
All
So
right.
if Eternals drops to making under 30 million, there's a problem. And if Clifford makes over 30 million, there's also a problem. So
You think Icarus is going to destroy with his laser eyes Clifford the big red dog?
now I had to land better. The Eternals
That would be
outlive.
so bad.
There we go. Let's look at that one. Okay, look, just hire me to do your headlines. I'm very good at this. But anyways, yeah. So Eternals number 1, Clifford number 2, because I don't see Clifford making over 30, being generous.
Number 3.
Watch Clifford make 100 million opening weekend. I will. Okay, I'm gonna make if Clifford makes over 70 million, which is what Eternals made approximately on opening weekend. Okay, I will come on here. Okay,
And apologize.
I will apologize, and then I will not talk for 20 straight minutes. It'll be just you for 20 straight minutes. I will not say a word. I will sit here quietly listening.
Okay.
I don't know if this is a punishment. I don't know who the punishment here is too, but I will sit here for 20 straight. Actually, no. I gotta do some math quickly. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I know this is, whatever. I don't know what math I'm doing, but I'll sit here for 20 minutes. I was gonna say 70 minutes because 70 million, but that's too long. So I'll sit here for 20 minutes. And I will not say.
Right.
I don't know if this is a punishment to you because you're gonna talk for 20 minutes straight, but I'll do it.
Okay. All right. It's a bet. All right. What's your third prediction?
And I feel like now, anyways, yes, finish. I gotta finish this. Now I'm still getting distracted. I keep getting distracted. I swear. Eternals, Clifford. No Time to Die. What do you say third?
Belfast.
Right. Dune, and then Ron's Gone Wrong.
Damn, so Belfast isn't even in your top 5?
No, I told you Belfast 3 million. Or 2 million, I said, right?
2 million. But you don't think it's gonna be like top 5 in like
No, Ron's Gone Wrong dropped 4.6% and it made 3. I'm just gonna assume it doesn't drop that much going forward. But then again, actually, the kids market would be very dissolved because of Clifford.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, Venom.
Venom? Okay. All right.
Wait, so what read me my list back?
Okay, so you got Eternals, Clifford, Bond, Dune, Venom.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Look at these percentages. It makes Belfast will probably be somewhere in the top 10.
Damn, he's like, all right, fair enough.
It could make 3 million. I'll give it that. Wait, you know what? Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. Hold on. I might want to alter my prediction a little bit. Actually, no, I'm gonna change my prediction. I'm gonna change it. Throw Belfast in at the end for 5, and I'm gonna say 4 million.
Okay.
It's more realistic.
Got him.
Like somewhere between 3 and 4. I'm getting nervous with my prediction. Okay, I'm staying between 3 and 4.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm staying between 3 and
4. Okay. Nice.
Okay. I'm just prepared for the fact that I might not talk for 20 straight minutes. You better. I feel like you're just gonna go and watch Clifford on repeat just to single-handedly make it hit the.
Even worse.
Yeah, you're gonna just start becoming the biggest Clifford. I don't know. Like, does this benefit you, or is it just a punishment for you and not for me, or is it a punishment for me?
It doesn't matter to me, to be honest. But like, the question is it a punishment for you, or is it a reward for you?
It's a punishment for me. You're not gonna talk for 20 straight minutes. I've never done that before in my life.
I'll put on a timer for you if it does happen.
Well, I'll see the timer when we're recording, right?
But, yeah, true.
Yeah, it'll be a punishment for me for sure. The question is a reward for you? Because I will not be. I will not be able to not talk for 20 straight minutes. I mean, I'll have to, but that'll be very difficult. Because as you know, I like talking. Which, I'm very scared that this movie is now going to make a lot of money.
We'll just have
all I know
see.
is I'm not watching Clifford opening weekend because sure as hell not letting it contribute to my possible 20 minutes of silence.
All right. Well, we got
it. More than 70 though. Actually, you know what? We'll change that. Maybe it'll make. I don't think it'll be more. If it's 1, if it beats Eternals, I won't talk for 20 minutes.
Okay.
That's how confident I also am in the fact that Eternals will not lose to Clifford.
Okay. Sounds good.
Also, the other thing I'm thinking about is obviously the hybrid release, but also Clifford releases on Wednesday, not Friday. So in theory, there's a chance that people who want to watch it somehow after school, I guess as kids, would watch it. I don't know how that works. Do people do that? I don't know.
And oh wait, today is Wednesday now, so it's coming out.
Today.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, I don't think that counts towards general weekend box office, obviously, because it's not a weekend. But so then, does that take away enough? And if that's the reason, the difference. I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong and I'll be sitting here for 20 minutes straight quietly. But if not, who knows? But yeah, I think that's it. Also, I watched what's the movie called? Last Night in Soho.
How was that?
It was so good.
For real?
I loved it.
What's it even about?
It's very hard to describe, so I'm not going to try, but it's good.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not kidding. So I watched Eternals Thursday, like midnight, right?
Yeah.
So I got home at like 1:40, I don't know. I think I watched Eternals actually I think the show was at 10. Got home at like 1:40-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, I was back at the same theater at 1:00 for, like, in the afternoon to watch Last Night in Soho.
It was good. Like you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was good. I loved it.
All right, good to know.
And the other thing, which, because clearly 2 hours is not enough and we need to spend more time talking, and people really want to listen to us for more than that. I'm on my 2021 movies. I have 32 now. Okay.
Ooh.
Now the number we're going for is so I had 31 in 2020, which I've already surpassed now. But in 2019, the last normal year, I had 35. So we're going for 35, and we still got a month. So close.
Very
the
close.
goal is 36. If I can beat 2019, which is a very good year for me watching movies, then that's the goal. Also, just a little bit of a hint before we go off this thing, or a teaser for what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently working through the only private letterbox lists I have. I am actually going to be making a video. Okay. This will be the most prepared for video I've ever made, which means I'm actually going to do preparation. I will be revealing for the first time in my entire life my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Ooh.
I've never done this before, ever. And I will be for the first time giving a definitive, not the best, because obviously if you need the best, why the hell are you asking me? My top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the most, like, I have a short list. I tell you now. I was coming up with a short. There's only one film that is a lock for that list.
Okay.
There are 15 films on the short list right now, which I'm gonna have to choose from. And I'm assuming there'll end up being more because there are a lot of gaps. And I'm coming up with like a criteria list. It's going to be a very detailed thing. But then I'll be able to point to it now anytime anyone asks, oh, what's your favorite movie? I can now point to this video and say, stop asking me this stupid question over and over. So yeah.
All right.
So that's something that'll come at some point because now I'm committed to like finishing this list at some point, maybe over Christmas, and I will, come out with this video, and then I'll finally be able to get people to stop asking me what my favorite movie is, because when people ask me that question, it's crazy and it's very annoying.
All right. Well, we'll have to.
And then they say, what do they expect from you? Like, do they expect you to pull out, like, if I said something, right? Like, say I said Infinity War or Endgame or Black Panther, I'm not gonna tell you how many of those, if any of those are on my short list. Maybe one of those is on my short list. You can guess which one.
Infinity War.
I'm not gonna tell you.
It's Infinity War.
Maybe it was Black Panther. I don't know. But it's like if I said something like that, right? Then it's like, well, I completely forgot about this movie, or I forgot about this movie. You know what I mean? Like, you can say something, but then you're like, wait a second, there's 7 other movies I forgot about. So it's a very unfair question to ask someone on the spot. Any real person who has seen a lot of movies would not be able to tell you what their favorite movie is just like that, without very clear deliberations and a very clear rubric as to, or criteria, I guess, as to what that entails, right? Because favorite can be defined in a number of ways. Like, what do you prioritize? Like, when I'm making my list, I'm prioritizing rewatchability, which means generally, do I think will there be a lot of deep dramas on my list? No, because typically I don't like that kind of genre. Now, will there be a few? Maybe. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. But will there be some all-time great movies, which I will say are all-time greats? Let's say, like, for example, one movie which will not be on my short list is The Godfather, an all-time great movie. But it's not on my list.
Yeah.
I tell you for a fact now, it will not be a movie on because it's not one of my top 10. It's a great movie, but it's not one I think is a very rewatchable or a very one I really like to rewatch. But I know it's a great movie and I do enjoy watching it. But it's not my top 10 favorites. Maybe it's top 20. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I will join you on this, listing off the top 10 movies that we got.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
You have to come up with this then.
I gotta come up with a list. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, we can make it not a podcast because that'll be too long, but
yeah,
it's like a video,
like a short little video.
And I make cool graphics too. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a whole big thing. But yeah,
right. We can do that.
It's coming down the pipeline. Probably it's one of those things that I actually like really want to do, because like it isn't just like something I'm saying like I promise this coming, like a lot of things and then it just never comes because I just get lazy or bored. But this is something I really want to do, because then I can actually, because it's actually very annoying when people ask the question. So now I can just point to this so I don't have to think about it. And I can just say, hey, I can plug myself, right? I can say, hey, I've got this video, right? And so I can plug myself while also not having to answer the question on the spot, because it's been meticulously thought out.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to use Letterboxd. Yeah.
I added Eternals to the list of best 2021 movies.
See, you're using Letterboxd now. Yeah. Letterboxd is the greatest thing. And yes, this is still unsponsored praise of Letterboxd.
Please, Letterboxd. Please sponsor us. We need the money, please. Thank you. We appreciate it.
I just want Letterboxd to recognize my existence. Please, there's a reason I use their app. It's one of my most used apps.
Please, we work hard. Please help us.
Yeah, so before this becomes very weird, thank you all for watching. We forgot to do the introduction at the beginning. I just realized.
Yeah, you can follow us on social media. We're gonna have it posted. We've mentioned it
everywhere,
before.
Whatever. I haven't uploaded like the last 3 episodes to iTunes, but I will do that again now. Mm-hmm. Thank you if you got to this point. I don't know how you did. I barely did. And I'm talking, so thank you for listening.
Thanks, y'all.
Do the ratings and reviews and likes and subscribes and comments, and if I end up actually putting this on iTunes or the podcast things in general besides YouTube, which I haven't done for the last 2, then do the stuff that you would do there. If I get lazy and I just put it on YouTube and be done with it, then I guess don't. I don't know. Look, I am, yeah. And if you're watching this and it's still, this week, then that means I did a good thing and I actually edited this.
Yeah.
Look at that. See, so you in the future know how this turned out.
That sounds very Minority Report-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, what was the point of that? I don't know. I need to stop. I need to sleep. That's what I'm gonna do. I need to go to sleep.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
I'm losing my mind. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah. You finish the sign off thing, and.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all for watching. We're gonna come back soon, record another one, and yeah. Enjoy y'all's weeks. Take care.